We're still in Kenya now. Rights group Human Rights Watch says a crackdown on opposition protesters in Western Kenya in the aftermath of the general elections in August included serious human rights violations. The international rights group reports that at least 12 people were killed and over 100 others badly injured. HWR also believes police used excessive force by shooting and beating protesters in a pro-opposition area of the capital, Nairobi. HRW Africa researcher Otsiano Namanya says that the brutal crackdown was a part of a pattern of violence and repression in opposition strongholds undermining the national elections. After losing the presidential elections on August the 8th, Kenya's opposition NASA Alliance is currently challenging the results at the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, Kenya's Supreme Court has granted the opposition alliance NASA access to the Electoral Commission's database and materials following the party's petition challenging the results of the elections. Opposition leader Raila Odinga claims that Kenya's electronic voting system run by the Electoral Commission had been tampered with to give victory to his rival Uhuru Kenyatta, an allegation the IEBC has strongly denied. NASA's access to IEBC data will be limited to only aspects that will not compromise the Commission's electoral management systems. President Kenyatta's swearing-in has been postponed from August the 29th so that the Supreme Court can first announce the findings of its investigation into the allegations.
Make the following point. If there is a transgression that amounts to a violation of any particular section of the law in regard to the election, it cannot be considered to be just a minor transgression or an irregularity. And that is because, again, under Article 10 of the Constitution, one of the most important principles and submissions.
Meanwhile, Angola's opposition party, CASA-CE, says it'll challenge the result of last week's election in court. The Electoral Commission announced on Thursday that provisional results show the ruling MPLA party has gained more than 60% of the vote. But opposition parties questioned where the results came from. Leader of the main UNITA opposition party, Isaias Zamakuva, says that until the Electoral Commission has tabulated the provincial results, the country does not have valid election results. After the provisional results were announced, both UNITA and CASA-CE distanced themselves from the results, complaining that proper counting procedure had not taken place. The official results are expected on the 6th or 7th of September. In Nigeria, the Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom has ordered the demolition of structures illegally erected along the path of waterways. This follows the heavy flooding in Makurdi, the state capital, that ravaged over 2,000 houses, including the offices of the state's radio station. Governor Ortom also inspected the flooded areas, and he appealed to the federal government to intervene and make available the ecological funds to support the state.
Water covers everywhere. The aftermath of the heavy rainfall that submerged over 2,000 houses in Makurdi. This displaced family, with their aged parents, are left with no option but to make the street their new abode. They've been evicted from their home by the flood. The roads are not spared either. Residents have to swim across a divided portion deep enough to submerge a human being.
Yes, there is no drainages around this area, and that is the reason why this flood happened. If you go into my house now, it's unfortunate that I'm standing on the roadside, but if you go into my house now, my mattresses, all my equipment are inside the water. It's up to the knee level, inside my room. I'm not talking of outside of the environment.
The scale of devastation in the area has attracted the attention of the state government.
I have no alternative than to demolish, because we cannot come and be lamenting every day as a government. We must give the people guide and direction. And the people too should listen to us. Where you're not given a certificate of occupancy and you just come and build on water channel, and you're causing inconvenience to legitimate owners of the land. Okay, look at the inconvenience they're causing now.
The governor also solicits support from the federal government to deal with the issue.
Benue State needs ecological intervention as a matter of urgency to enable us have access to our homes. And I think that the federal government ecological programs should intervene with immediate effect. Why I call on National Emergency Relief Agency to also support the state government.
While most parts of the state continue to grapple with the economic and social losses from the flood crisis, the residents of Makurdi may have to wait for the waters to recede in order to pick up the wet pieces of their lives, while hoping for an effective solution to the problem.
The South African school where pupils went on strike to demand the right to wear skinny pants has resumed normal lessons. In a statement, the Gauteng Educational Department blamed the incident on 2 unruly learners who coerced other students into protesting. Earlier, the fashion-conscious teenagers demanded the right to wear skinny pants to school, saying their current uniforms are too big. It's unclear whether the school authority gave in to their demands. According to the government body, the situation is more of a social problem. South African educational authorities say that they fear the incident could set a wrong precedent, adding that although their actions are a bit surprising, it's still within the pupils' rights to approach the school governing body if they indeed wanted to wear skinny pants. Staying in South Africa, 4 people have been charged to court on charges of possession of human tissue. The group includes a traditional healer who has been accused of making his clients eat human flesh with promises of riches and success. The case comes after one of the accused allegedly walked into a police station declaring he was tired of eating human flesh. When questioned further, the man produced a part of a human leg and hand. Police then accompanied the man back to a house in KwaZulu-Natal where more body parts were found. When we come back on Network Africa, Egyptian students produce diesel from used car tires, plus more on the Kenyan ban on plastic bags. Do stay with us.